typing your questions. Welcome to Car Shopping Mistakes. I am your host, Deshone the Auto Advisor. I'm going to be live for about an hour answering all your car shopping questions. If you're car shopping now or you will be in the next 3 to 6 months, I want you to type me in the comments. Sometimes you don't realize how time is a strength. Time is a strength when you're in the car market. And we're live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And I got my man Dolan in the background moderating. So he will be bringing your comments into the show. But let me know if you're car shopping now or you will be in the next 3 to 6 months. Getting in early, you can do a whole lot. If you realize this is a $30,000 to a $100,000 transaction and you treat it like that, you will be able to take advantage of things that desperate shoppers can't take advantage of. Incoming inventory. Most people are going to go into the dealership, say, I need a car tonight. I need a car this weekend. All of that is desperate energy. Even I need a car this month, by the end of this month. That's not a long time. And when you're in front of a car salesman, they know that's not a long time. They know that you've waited till 30 days from the time you need a car to make this, 5 or 6 figure transaction. And even if that's you, we still want you to have the strategies to be able to move. What's up, Sebastian? Good to see you on TikTok. And but I want you to realize that if you're 3-6 months before you need a car, you have different leverage you can use. So let us know if you're car shopping, and let me just share this broadcast on Facebook, and we will get this show on the road. This broadcast is sponsored by my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Everything you're going to hear today on the show is going to be out of that book. It's going to be a strategy, a step, processes out of that book. And it's normally $97. But while you're on the show, we have a 2-hour launch special. You can get it for 75% off. That's $24 in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio. There's a link in my YouTube comments or my Facebook comments. So good to see you, Clifton Williams, Robert Walker, Ed Nicole on Facebook. Good to see everybody checking in on Facebook. Let me just tag some people. You can start typing your questions, because once we get to the questions, guys, we're just going back to back to back to back. So while we're doing the housekeeping, type your questions in. Dolan will get ready to bring them into the show, and we'll bring them up on the screen. So do not wait to start typing your questions. And good to see you, Gerald, on YouTube, checking in. My man, I see you got your question. 3 to 6 months you're shopping for. There's some specific things that I want to talk with you about. Kind of let me know a little bit about your goals, Gerald. And now let me pop over to Instagram. And once I do that, guys, we'll get started in about 30 to 45 seconds. We're on TikTok. Come on in. I see Lola on TikTok. I see Sebastian. Sebastian, you got the #1 gifter badge. Sarah Marie, good to see you. David Rosa. Oh, man. I mean, a lot of people checking in. I probably should take a little time and do some shout outs. But while you come on in, type your questions so we can get ready to start. I want to get to it. Bert, good to see you. Dana, good to see you. Hang on. Let me share this on my personal Facebook page. And let's get as many people out. Listen, people out here going and shopping this weekend, guys, and they're losing. So, and I think once you spend about 30 minutes with us, 15 minutes, you're going to know that most people are losing. So that's why I take the time to really share this. And I appreciate those of you who share the broadcast with your friends, because we might save somebody's financial life. All right, so that's Facebook. Let's pop over to Instagram, and then we'll bring the first question up. All right. Hang on. All right, here we go. Now we're on Instagram. Okay, good to see you. All right, so let's get started with the first question. Are you a negotiator or just an advisor? I don't necessarily consider myself a negotiator. I do enjoy negotiating. That's not a problem for me. It's my career since I was 22 in 2006. But the way you get the best price on anything is not through negotiations. You don't say to yourself when you buy a TV online, hey, I negotiated the best price. That's not the way it goes. You look at a market and then you pick the best deal based on lots of opportunities, lots of offers. You don't go to the supermarket and say, man, I really negotiated a great deal on the spaghetti sauce this week. No, you look at lots of options, you pick the best one. If you're in a supermarket that has a spaghetti sauce for $6, but another supermarket across town has that same spaghetti sauce for $4, and then another one downtown has the same spaghetti sauce on sale for $1.99, you don't say to yourself, wow, I negotiated a great price on the spaghetti sauce. You just have to know where the other prices are. And that's how we approach car shopping. We approach it in a multiple offer scenario. It's always about seeing lots of competition, and that's how you end up knocking the best deal down. So that's when it comes, when in that respect, I am an advisor to the market for you guys to stop negotiating. Who's not a good negotiator? Let us know in the comments. You're just not a good negotiator. It's not your thing. Let me know in the comments, because this is for you. Okay? So I don't give advice that's going to be for negotiators, because again, like I said, that's not what I do. Okay? Let's go. So continue to type your questions. Let's go, guys. I'm going to get through as many questions as I can. And again, if you're just coming on, we're live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Let us know in the comments if you're car shopping now or you will be in the next 3 to 6 months. Type me in the comments. Let us know. And no question is off limits. A lot of people have been learning that leasing, when it comes to the 8-year rule, leasing is becoming so much more popular. I'm so glad we've been able to educate people on keeping cars long term and take them from buying cars, losing on the short term depreciation, to leasing cars. So any questions you have about leasing, about purchasing, I saw someone had a question about bad credit. We'll get to all of that. What's up, Harrison Hayes? Good to see you on Facebook. Good to see you. Kimberly asks, what's the best brand? All right. I'll leave it to Dolan. Dolan, bring in the next question, brother. Let's get this. Let's keep it moving. Everybody's question is going to get answered. Just make sure you're typing it and try to type it in one full question. Don't do it in parts, because if you type it in parts, then we can't really bring it onto the show. It'll be too difficult. All right. I don't see too much on Instagram too. Come on, Instagram. Let's get your questions in. I see a bunch of people on Instagram, but not a bunch of questions. All right. I have bad credit and want to do a one-pay lease. What's the best place? BMW said no. Mercedes. Okay. So the thing about a one-pay lease is, although you are paying the whole lease up front, you still need to qualify to borrow, to have the bank lend you all the money. When you lease a car, you're not going to see all of the balance on your credit report. So let's say you lease a $40,000 car. You won't see $40,000 on your credit report like you'll see if you were to purchase or take a loan out for $40,000. You're going to see only the amount you're responsible for. So let's say you add up all the payments, which is how we actually judge value on a lease, adding up all the payments. And let's say out of that $40,000 car, let's say it equals $18,000. That's what's going to be on your credit report. So if $18,000 is on the credit report, but I got a $40,000 car, then who paid the dealership the whole $40,000 on my behalf? The bank did. So the bank is still lending you money because they have to pay the dealership the entire $40,000. And then they say to you, customer, send us $18,000 over 3 years, but they're still loaning you the money. So it's no different than if you were to take out the payments of $18,000 over 36 months. The difference with a one-pay lease is you're saving on interest. So the reason why people do one-pay leases or they do multiple security deposits is to lower the interest on the lease. Now, if you have a good lease with a low interest already, then it's not going to make much sense to lower the interest rate. But some leases do have higher interest rates, which is called a money factor. And when you do multiple security deposits or one-pay lease, it actually makes financial sense. over a down payment, but you're still borrowing the money. So I think if you're having trouble getting approved with Mercedes or a luxury brand, then maybe you should try something a little more not as luxury. What's up, Tasha? Cranky, good to see you. All right, and if you have a follow-up question, you can certainly do that. But that's the initial top-level answer that I would give based on what you said. Charles, good to see you on TikTok. Mark Smith got the #2 gifted badge. Thank you. Sebastian Bernstern. Let's go, Dolan. Bring in the next question. I see we got a lot more people coming in, a lot more questions, a lot of people on Facebook. Good to see you, King Damus, on Instagram, checking in. All right. Jeru from YouTube, looking for a 2026 Ram 2500. I have a 1600 1500 Ram. I have a 2016 1500 Ram paid off. This is not a need. Great. So this allows you to actually have time and flexibility. So if I'm you, first thing I'm doing is the equity assessment to see what my car is worth now. So although you have it paid off, let's see how much of an asset is that to your next transaction. And so if you've decided you're going to keep this car long term, which is at least 8 years, some of you who's familiar with my 8-year rule, type me in the comments. If you're keeping the car more than 8 years, then you're going to go into another purchase, just like you did in this case. You've had this car, I'm assuming, since it was new. But I don't want to assume, because some people would have a 16 that they bought just 3 years ago. So I don't want to assume that. So if you're keeping the next car 8 years, then you go into another purchase. And the first thing you would do now is that equity assessment. Let's see what the 2016 is worth. Go on CarMax. Write this down. CarMax, Carvana, KBB, Instant Cash Offer, Car Gurus, Cash Offer, Auto Nation, Cash Offer, and Driveway, Cash Offer. Those are 6 sites that we use to see what our car is worth. We do not, we don't use the curse word here, the T word. You know, some people say the curse word is the F word or the S word. No, here the curse word is the T word, trade. We don't trade. You don't get what it's worth trading. So you want to find out what that asset is worth. Then you would move into the next part of your transaction. And once you start shopping for this new car, the key is multiple offers. So you're going to see there's going to be so many different prices on this 2500 Ram. It's going to blow your mind. And I keep telling you about the spaghetti sauce scenario. Guys, once you grab the spaghetti sauce scenario, you're going to it's going to all make sense. The Cars from Home model is going to make sense. You can go into different stores and see the exact same spaghetti sauce for different prices. That is how cars are, except it's a big, big difference between the prices. In some cases, you'll see, like, let's take Patrice. Patrice used our Cars from Home system. She just got a Mazda CX-30, $39,000 vehicle. Now, her final quote was $471 a month. She decided to lease it, save thousands of dollars off the price. But here's the key. When she received her 20 quotes from home, she's in California. She's in the California area. The quotes were a $200 per month difference. That's the key. So from $471 with no money down all the way up to $671 is where her quotes came in. Exact same car. That's what we have to understand. So you can imagine when you start shopping for this Dodge Ram, you can imagine how different the prices are going to be. Some dealers are going to take off nothing. Some dealers, you're going to go back and forth with them. They're going to take off $2,000. Some dealers are going to try to sell you above sticker because they have a bunch of made up fees. And then some dealers might come in at $5,000 off. Same exact vehicle. So this is what we call the 80%. The 80%, no matter how much you negotiate with them, are never going to go below a certain amount. They rather sell the car to somebody else. So the key is if you're going to do it your way, you should call around, get multiple offers from you want to get at least 5 offers from your local Dodge dealers. If you are not, or Ram, if you are going to do it our way, you would actually use my scripts, my templates in my book, and actually send it out, do everything by email without talking. So this whole show is sponsored by my digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's normally $97, but during the show for the next 2 hours, you get it for 75% off. That's $24. In there is the scripts we use totally by email to send these out to 25 dealers. We contact 25 dealers in about 15 minutes. Once you have the contact, you're just using my email scripts to narrow it down, weed out the 80%, and then narrow it down to those 5 offers that are going to be the best. Obviously, one is going to beat everybody, and then you would use my counter offer calculator to make your final deal. So if you want your copy, you can get it. It's a digital download. It'll be in your inbox by the time we end the show. It's in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio. There's a website there. And then Dolan has a link for you guys in my Facebook comments or the YouTube comments. But that's what you want. Multiple offers, but do that equity assessment first so you know exactly what what your old RAM is going to put either in your bank account or what you can apply towards your next deal. All right, great question. Good morning, Mama Jacqueline on Instagram. Good to see you. All right, I see some comments finally coming in on Instagram, but I know we got a lot more before you guys. So let's pull up the next one, Dolan. Good to see you, Harrison Hayes on Facebook. Kimberly Powell. Go ahead, Dolan. All right, here we go. Next question. All right, this is Harrison Hayes on Facebook. Good to see you, my man. I've received a pre-approved letter through Capital One. I got my last vehicle through Capital One a few years back. I've had a truck now since 2012. I'm shopping to upgrade. What's the best way to utilize this, or should I go through my credit union? This is a great question. Depends on that Capital One pre-approval. Some Capital One pre-approvals are garbage. They have a network of dealers, and what they do is they actually connect you to that network of dealers, and when you come in, you can't just pick any car you want. The purpose of a pre-approval should be just like a pre-approval on a home mortgage. So when you get a pre-approval on a home mortgage, you just tell them what you want, or you give them a little bit about your credit, and then they tell you how much you can go spend. They give you a preliminary interest rate, and then they give you the term, 30 years, 15 years. And then they say, what? Go find a house. In cars, it should be the same. And with quality pre-approvals, it is the same. But when it comes to some of these banks, this is what we want to look out for. We do not want pre-approvals that limit where we can shop. We don't want hard credit pre-approvals at all, because a hard credit pre-approval now starts the timer. So we want to be able to shop. We want to be able to shop for cars with no pressure. The last thing you want, guys, is pressure from the bank. I mean, we're already, if you're doing shopping the traditional way, you're already dealing with pressure from the dealership. Now, that's why I want you to unlearn that and start to do it the Cars from Home way. But even in the Cars from Home way, we don't want our bank putting a timer on when we can shop. Oh, go find a car in 30 days, 45 days. That's why we want to stay away from hard credit pre-approvals. But in the case of this Capital One, if it's just hey, you can go and find a car. We looked at your credit. This is what you can spend. Read that fine print, though. If that fine print is trying to point you to their network, then that's a bad pre-approval. They're in cahoots together. In which case, it would be much more to your benefit to get the pre-approval from your credit union. Now, if your pre-approval from your credit union is a hard pull, then what do? We step back and we look at the purpose of a pre-approval and say, all right, well, I don't need either one of you. Last thing you would do is just go online and try to find a soft credit pre-approval, because the purpose for the pre-approval is only to budget. That's the only purpose. There's no other purpose for a pre-approval. That's not what you're going to fund the loan with. It may not even be who you end up getting the loan from, but it is going to help you budget. What can I spend? So when they tell you who's gotten pre-approved for a large amount, and you say to yourself, well, I'm not going to spend all of that. They say, well, you can get a $70,000 car. And you're like, I'm not going to spend all of that. That's the purpose. It's for you to see how much could I spend, and then figure out from that, how much do I want to spend? So if you can get a soft credit pre-approval, that's where you want. That is always the goal. Stay away, please. Type in the comments, no hard credit pre-approvals. If you got that, type $signs. I need to know that this is clicking because unfortunately, videos went viral years ago. It did make sense to get a pre-approval, but it's not making sense now because the banks are onto it and they've changed their strategy and said, okay, well, if these guys are coming in for pre-approvals, then let's just make sure that it's a hard credit pre-approval so we can try to tie them to us. Does that make sense? Type $signs if you understand. And I see you, King Diamonds. All right, I see you. If you're understanding this, this is how you want to move. Now, let's get back to this pre-approval. What if we can't get the soft credit pre-approval? What do? Now, we're just going to use a simple budgeting tactic. Go right to Google, type in average interest rate, and if you're shopping for a new car, type average interest rate, new car. Type average interest rate, used car. And then you want to take that, put it into a auto loan calculator, and I'll show you a way. Again, if you have my book, you can avoid this totally because we have a special calculator for you and a special process. But if you don't, here's what you would do. Put that, let's say the average auto loan interest rate is, 5.4. You go to that auto loan calculator, you put 5.4 into the auto loan calculator, and then you see what you want your payment to be. And then you say, okay, well, $400 a month, that's going to be about $20,000. You need to know what you can spend. See, I want you to get off of what they've taught you the pre-approval is for, and you need to lock in your mind the only purpose. It's to know what can I spend so I don't get out here looking at a $30,000 car, not realizing, well, my budget only bought me $20,000. So that's why we're using the pre-approval, to know exactly what we can spend and not go over that. Okay? And you do not need to give anyone access to your credit to do that. Now, in my book, I have something called the perfect budget calculator. It's included in the book. We have 6 calculators in the book that we invented. Cars from Home, proprietary calculators, can't get them anywhere on Google. And what you do is you use that average interest rate. You tell the calculator how much down payment you may or may not want to put down, how much equity you have. Like in the example of our last question, let's say that RAM is worth $8,000 in equity. You will put that in, and then you will put in your state, and it tells you, it gives you up to 6 goals of here's what you go and spend if you're looking for a no money down 5-year deal, 5-year loan. You can spend $21,000 and be at your comfortable payment. Then it goes to 6-year loan, no money down deal. Then it goes to 5-year loan if you use your equity, but still a no down payment deal. Then and then it goes all the way up to your max budget, which would be using your equity, putting your money down, and being at your comfortable monthly payment for a 6-year loan. But the good thing about that is that's still your max down payment. That's your max budget. It's not a car salesman that talked you into going over that. And who's going into a dealership thinking, I don't want to spend any more than 500. You go in with your max budget in mind, and then you leave at what? Do you ever leave at 500? No, you leave at 550, 575. And if you if you do just these simple 5-minute steps that I'm telling you to do, you'll know what your budget is, so you're never going in and going over your budget. Okay? So again, depending on if you have my book or if you don't, I gave you 2 ways to do this. Harrison, make sure you understand whether you have my book or not, what I can spend. And then once I know what I can spend, okay, $24,000, that's all I can spend to be at my budget. Now let me go and let me find my car. Regardless of where I'm going, I need to know what I can spend. Then I go find the car for that money. Okay, does that make sense? Type $signs if y'all following. Okay, great question. Next question. Let's go. We got a lot more. I see Brio Coolio on Instagram. I see IBRE. I see D on TikTok. We got a lot of questions coming in, Dolan, on the 4 platforms. So Let me try to get through. I'm going to try to answer these quicker, but I want to be thorough. Do you guys want quick answers or thorough answers? Q or T? Let me know. Q or T? I extended my lease for a few months because I'm still shopping for a good deal. Is that okay? 100%. If you have a lease right now, who has a lease coming due in the next 90 days? Type me. Coming due in the next 90 days. First thing you want to do is call your bank. Call your bank. Get your payoff. I see you, Kevin Rohn. All right, we'll keep it thorough. We'll keep it thorough, Gerald. All right, call your bank. You're going to get your payoff. This is what we call the equity assessment. Shout out to everybody on TikTok, double tapping the screen. Every time y'all do that, those likes keep going up. TikTok brings more people over here. I appreciate everybody hitting the like button. It does bring more people to the show. So thank you, everybody. You got a lot of you getting #1 gifter badges on TikTok too. Thank you. We can't do this show. We can't change the world without you guys. So thank you. Okay, so you extended your lease and you're shopping. You're looking for your great deal. You extended your lease. This is what you keep in the back pocket, guys. For those of you who have leases coming due in the next 30 to 90 days, you're going to do the equity assessment first. Call your bank, find out what you owe. What is your payoff? Now, who didn't know you could sell a lease? Type a question mark. If you did not know you could sell a lease, but every lease doesn't have equity. The key is making sure before you return the lease, there's no equity. Some of you, especially through 2021, 2022, 2023, were dropping off your leases and you were giving the dealerships thousands of dollars. You didn't know it. You just came in. Again, guys, this is going to be some bad news because you're going to hear a lot of mistakes you've made. That's why the show is called Car Shopping Mistakes. So if you were just dropping off your leases and you were wondering, wow, man, honey, they got me in this deal. I didn't even have to put any money down. Yeah, because you dropped off your lease and there may have been $4,000, $8,000 in that lease. So we're never doing that. We are actually doing an equity assessment first to see if we can get out of the lease early. There is no reason to get out of the lease early if you're not making money or unless you're over mileage. So if you're not over mileage or making money, there's no reason to get out of the lease early, especially when you're getting deals like we get. Now, if you're overpaying and you're like, man, Deshone, I feel like I got ripped on this lease. Okay, then you might want to get out a little sooner. But still, there's a penalty to getting out if you're not selling your way out. So call your bank, ask for your payoff, and you want to ask this: do I have a third-party restriction? Do I have a third-party restriction? A third-party restriction means you cannot sell to any buyer you want to. You can't sell to Carvana if they make you the highest offer. You can't sell to CarMax if they make you the highest offer. You can only sell to a dealership of the same brand. So if you have a Nissan, you can only sell to a Nissan dealership. Now, many of you, when you found out about the third-party restriction, you just gave up on your equity rather than realizing you could make people bid from the dealerships. So it's not that we don't have a strategy for third-party restrictions. It's just a different strategy than if we don't have a third-party restriction. So call your bank, get your payoff. Then you're going to go on the 6 websites that I named that we do our equity assessment on. Kelly's Blue Book, Cash Offer. Auto Nation, Cash Offer. Driveway, Cash Offer. Car Gurus, Cash Offer. CarMax, and Carvana. You're going to take 20 minutes. And this is a process that is going to eliminate you leaving thousands of dollars on the table. Again, thousands of dollars. Nothing we're talking about here today is hundreds. I did not gather you all to talk about hundreds of dollars. That means nothing. Thousands of dollars is what each mistake is costing you. So we're going to do these 20-minute processes, these 5-minute processes to keep thousands of dollars in our bank account and out of other people's pockets. Okay? Is that clear? So first step is equity assessment. Then if you have equity or if you can break even, then you can get out of the lease early. Now, let's just say most of you are going to run your equity assessment. You're going to say, Deshone, I don't have any equity in the lease. Perfect. You're going to wait until you make your last payment. With a lease, I like to see you have 90 days to watch the market and say no. 90 days. If you go into the market and you always have a 2-week deadline and you don't have any shopping strategy, you are losing thousands of dollars because dealers see the desperate energy all over you. That's why I want you home. But when you are making your last payment, for those of you who run your lease and you do not have any equity, you are going to make your last payment. Then you are going to start shopping for your offers that month. So let's say you don't find a good offer that month, you extend your lease and then you shop again because lease offers change from month to month. So this is the process you want to use, and it buys you time. This is how you're able to say, you'll see 2 important dates. When you're talking to a dealer, you want to be able to make a deal today. That gets them excited. As a former car salesman, been in the car business and around the car business since 2006. Nothing gets a car salesman more excited than a person who can make a deal today. But if you tell them, well, I don't need a car for 90 days, now the psychology just kicked in that you're not desperate. So I can make a deal today, so I'm serious, but I don't need the car for up to 90 days, so I'm not desperate. That means you can get cars that are on the way 30 days from now, 2 months from now. Program might be better 2 months from now. That's why I want you guys not waiting till the last minute until you need a car. Now, just keep getting your offers. That's what I would say. Like that's the process you want to follow. But do not think about getting offers on your new car until you've done your equity assessment on your current lease. That's a huge part. That's a third of your transaction. Okay? Equity assessment always comes first. All right. Next question. All right. RWR, good to see you on Instagram. Good to see you. Quincy T. Jay, good to see you. Quincy T, my man, checking in. Kevin Rowan on Facebook. Indy, we're live on 4 platforms, guys. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So type your questions in, and Dolan's going to do his best to pull everybody's questions into the show. My man, Kevin Rowan on Facebook. I leased my car using your system 2 years ago. My lease is up. Thank you, first of all. My lease is up next August. The dealership is reaching out saying they need my car. I'm pretty sure I need to wait until next year to do my lease. But does it make sense to do this early? I'm well below my miles, and the car is in great condition. Who's getting calls from dealerships telling them right now, I need your car, I need your car? Type me in the comments. So as you can just see, Kevin just said dealerships are calling him. Let me ask you, has anyone ever gotten a letter from a dealership saying, hey, don't call us, we don't need your car? See, when we were in the dealerships, all of these letters and emails go out templated. That's why when you're using our system, you're using the templates, because I know that all our email communication, all our mail communication was based on templates, and it works. It's going to go out to 1,000 people, and out of that 1,000, 5% or 10% are going to respond. So when we look at and I want you guys to stay by your keyboards. It's going to be very tough for you to get everything you can get out of this. We're talking heavy financial information here. This is not, we don't dance here. We don't tell jokes. This is not really a funny channel. It's a very serious channel, and it's bad news first. And I need you to actually, I need you to lock in. You'll hear me say that a lot. If you're just casually glazing, you're over here, you got this going on over here, and you're trying to see how this guy Deshone could help me save $5,000-$10,000 on my car purchase, it's not going to work. You have to be locked in, engaged, if you're going to actually win like we're winning. Okay. And again, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, I regularly just I put pictures up of people using our stuff. Val, she just got her car, $51,000 car, saved 10 grand plus on it, got a 1.1% payment of $500 a month on her lease on a $51,000 car. Look, Jen Matter of fact, some of you know Zafrina. Zafrina, we talked about last year, who got a 1% lease. She came back and got another one. Actually, it's a 0.9% deal on a $76,000 vehicle. Her payment $742 a month with only first month's payment. So 76. Let's be clear. $76,000 vehicle. She decided to lease it. Saved well over 10 grand on it, maybe close to 15 grand. She decided she wanted to lease it, and her payment $742 a month on a $76,000 car. No money down. You're not going to get those results unless you're locked in over here. Okay, so I just want to remind everybody that this is a financial channel. We don't play over here. All right, so if you're locked in, type locked in, and let's continue. Okay, so Kevin says you used the system, the Cars from Home system, to get your lease 2 years ago. Now dealers are calling you saying, hey, I need your car. Come bring it in early. That is always going to be the advertisement. It's always going to be bring your car in. You need to see if it makes sense for you to get out of your lease early. And the way you do that is with the equity assessment. First thing you're going to do is call your bank, get your payoff. This is if you even want to get out early. Now, if you didn't put any money down or you put little to no money down on your lease, you might want to get out early if you can. If you put a ton of money down, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, you don't really want to get out early because you actually subsidize your lower lease payment with a upfront contribution. So if you put $4,000 down and you jump out of your lease 6 months early, you are not getting that money back. You're actually losing that money. So that's why the equity assessment is key. Call your bank, find out what your payoff is. Ask them, do I have a third-party restriction? If you don't have a third-party restriction, then you can sell to anyone. You're going to get your 6 cash offers from CarMax, Driveway, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, Carvana, CarMax, and AutoNation. Get those 6 cash offers. See if you have equity. If your payoff is 20 and the highest offer is 22 or 23 or 21, then yes, you can get out early. If your highest offer is higher, but you have a third-party restriction, say like a BMW or a Nissan, then you're going to need to get offers from local used car managers. I have scripts in my books that show you how to do that. You don't need to talk to salespeople for this. You're talking to a used car manager, a person who buys cars for the dealership. This is all they do. So you're going to actually see about your equity. And if you can get out of the lease early, that's when you make a move. But if you look and you see that your payoff is 20 and your offers are coming in at 18, 17, 16, well below your payoff, then you need to understand that that money doesn't disappear. So when the dealer calls you in and you come in to look at a car to get out of your lease early, you are literally rolling that money from your old lease over to your new lease for no reason other than the fact I just wanted to get out of my lease early. So now instead of enjoying a low lease payment, cents on the dollar, you're actually paying $50 or $75 per month extra from your old car that didn't even need to be there. You just said, all right, I'm going to get out early. That's why we break these transactions up. We know what our old car is worth, so nobody could actually pull the wool over our eyes and say, okay, yeah, we're getting you out of your old car and your new payment is only $540 a month. Okay, but am I paying for my old car in my new car? Or is my old car being paid off? When you do your own equity assessments, you'll know that for yourself. All right. All of this is in my digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. That's step 2, the equity assessment. I walk you through it in detail. It's a digital book, so you can have it by the time this show ends. It's in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. And as part of our welcome offer, you won't pay the normal $97 price. If you get there, there's a 2-hour welcome offer of 75% off, and you'll get it for $24. It'll be in your inbox. You'll have everything step by step, my scripts, my processes, my templates, everything, so that you can do this all from home. You can handle 90 to 100% of this right from home. All right. So go grab your book. Come on back to the show. Okay, Dolan, a lot more questions coming in. Let's go to the next one. Steph West on TikTok. Good to see you, Denisha White on TikTok. Great to see you. Let's go. Quincy T from Instagram. Matter of fact, let me just take a sip of my water. Hold on. Shout out to the sharers. Thank you to everybody who has shared this show with a friend. This is a show where if your friend goes and gets a car and you tell them about this show, after they get the car, they will be mad at you because I guarantee you nobody will get mad at you sharing my channel with them. They might get mad at, other types, but when you tag your best friend into this show, they'll appreciate it. And they'll probably be mad at you if you didn't tag them and you're just watching. Okay? Okay, Quincy T, YouTube. I just wanted to let you know I bought your book. Thank you. I just got my wife a used vehicle. Wonderful. 2023 fully loaded Genesis, 39% off MSRP, 4K below the market, and only 8,000 miles. Congratulations. Let's clap it up for Quincy. And what you notice is he knows the discount off the new price. This is what's important. When we consider a used car, this is what we call at Cars from Home, the true value percentage. Who's shopping for a used car as their next car? Type U in the comments, the letter U. If you're shopping for a used car, type U. You need to know that the most important thing you need to understand is not just the accident record, not just the service records, not just the title history, not just the bogus fees on the car. You need to know how much the car was new. During the pandemic, we had people buying $29,000 Toyota Camrys that were $29,000 when they were brand new, but they were buying them as pre-owned cars, paying the same price for 3-year-old cars versus knowing this car was $29,000 when it was new. How could you be selling it to me 3 years old for $29,000? When I got my used Infiniti truck, it was I paid $31,800 for it. Originally, it was $54,500. So I got a 42% discount off the new price. You have to know how much the new price was. You can pull this up online. There's ways to Google it. There's Maroni.com. You have to know. We have some links in my book where you can pay. I think the most you're going to pay is $5. Some of the brands have an agreement with Carfax, so when you get it through Carfax, you can get the window sticker there. But if you've bought a used car and you haven't found out what the new car price is, how did you know you got a good deal? Let me ask you a serious question. Who's bought a used car in their life? Type the letter U. If you've bought a used car in your life, how did you know it was a good deal? Because you were comparing it to other prices? You were comparing it to made up market prices, algorithm prices? Based on all the Honda Accords, this is a good deal. Well, what about if this Honda Accord is an EXL with a technology package? And this one has a night package and a self-driving package. The vehicle I ended up getting had probably about $8,000 in extra equipment, self-driving features, backup cam, front cam, surround cam. It had 20-inch rims, couldn't really see in the pictures. Without you knowing this, how do you know you're getting a good deal on the used car? You're looking at two used cars. They're both black. One of them is $31,000. One of them is $30,000. You're like, well, I guess I'll pick the $30,000 one. Well, what happens if the $30,000 one originally was $40,000, but the $31,000 one was originally $48,000? Has a lot more equipment you can't see. This is why we must know what the original price of the car was. Again, you can look at a Carfax, depending on the brand. You can look at Got Clutch or something, or just type in get window sticker of cars. I don't care if you call the dealership and say, hey, I'm looking at this car. It's a Honda Accord. Could I pay you $5? Can you get me the window sticker? Without this, you don't know you're getting a good used car deal. And If you care about your money, you'll never buy a used car without knowing the original price again. All right? Great job, Quincy. 4,000, I mean, below the market value. That's like when I got the Infinity and it said all the other deals, it said good deal, great deal. I think it said my deal was fair because the asking price was a little higher. Most people are paying attention on used cars to asking prices. Asking prices don't mean anything. It's all about what that original price was. And when I looked at that, that was the biggest discount. So way to go. Way to go. Congratulations. Beautiful car. All right. Thank you, Whitney. Good to see you, Whitney, on TikTok. Amber on TikTok. Shout out to people checking in on TikTok. Shout out to everybody checking in on Instagram. Show me the moolah, Peen Money. A lot of people getting used cars. Andrew Kelvis on Instagram. A lot of people getting used cars. If you're not following these strategies, you are not going to get a good deal on a used car. You won't. It's no way you're going to know. All right. What is the most negative equity you've ever buried for a customer? That's probably 10 grand, 12 grand, but it has to be in a high price car. So the difference with negative equity now is you have other options we didn't have when I was selling cars in 2020 or 19. So before then, every time you go to buy a car, you're burying negative equity because you don't lease. That is the cause. So there's nobody who is continually having negative equity. Every single time you go to get your car, you have negative equity. It's because you don't lease. Somebody taught you leasing was wrong. You believed it, and it's costing you tons of money. Not only is it costing you tons of money, you're driving inferior cars. You're driving a lower quality product than you could be driving because leases are brand new. So you could be driving brand new cars, not having the problems you're having. You always have a payment anyway, and you have negative equity every single time. So you're rolling over all this money from one car to the next car. So you go out and you find a $400 payment. It's great. This is in my budget. And then here comes 10,000 of negative equity. So your $400 payment now goes to $600 because you had to throw this negative equity on top. Continually rolling this over and over and over. That's because you don't lease. Only scenario where you're not doing negative equity because it makes, the only reason for negative equity that is not based on you not leasing is because you really just had to change your car in a hurry and you thought you were going to keep it long term, but you ended up not keeping it long term. You might have had you might have had triplets. You had one car, you were going to keep it, your wife got pregnant, or your husband, you and your husband got pregnant, and then you end up having triplets, and we need a much bigger car. We were going to keep this car, but it no longer fits our life. So we have to switch this car. That's a reason to get out of the car early. And in some cases, you're going to have negative equity. But that's not most people. I've been in and around this business since 2006. Most people are just switching cars because they feel like it. And they're like, well, I'm just going to go buy this car. Car salesman. I know a ton of car salesmen when I first started educating the public that would go in and they don't even understand leasing. In fact, the reason I came to TikTok is because there was a guy, he had 150,000 followers. And I'm like, man, I like this guy. I was on Facebook and he's like, man, he answered all these questions. And then when somebody, I remember when I got to like his 11th or 12th video and somebody said, hey, could you tell us about leasing? And he said, never lease your cars. You're going to have all types of, penalties at the end. You're limited on mileage. Just buy your cars. And that was the day I made the decision that I was going to TikTok. Because if that guy had 150,000 followers and that was what he was teaching people, terrible financial advice about leasing, then I knew, oh, the public needs help. So your negative equity is based on you not leasing. You're paying tons of money and you don't understand that a lease would prevent this. So now going back to the options, let's say I have 12,000, 15,000 negative equity right now. What I'm doing is I'm assessing my 8-year rule. And my 8-year rule says if you're buying your next car, If you're keeping your next car 8+ years, then you should purchase it, new or pre-owned. If you are not keeping your next car at least 8 years, then you should be leasing. You should be shopping for a below market lease. So now, once I do that and I determine, all right, I'm going to purchase, I'm keeping it 8 years or more, or I'm leasing, then I'm looking for a car that I can get a ton of money off of. And in this case, there are so many of these cars, these electric vehicles, that we can get 15, 20 grand off of and then bury our negative equity in that. So, I mean, let's look at an example here. I have somebody who just got this electric vehicle. I think Val. I think I talked about Val. Hold on. See, these are the cases where, a matter of fact, just stay on Frina. Stay on Zafrina. Her second car was the 2026 Kia EV9 GT line. So that's an electric vehicle. She said, I used the program last year and I walked away with a great deal on a Jeep. So you've heard us, some of you who've been here before, you've heard us talk about Zafrina, got a ridiculous deal on her Jeep. Then she just got this $76,000 car and she paid $742 a month. So I'm just assuming if her payment is $742 a month on a $76,000 car with no money down, $742 a month times 36 months. That means, guys, she's paying $26,712 over 3 years. See, this is how you judge your lease value. You add up the payments. It's not complex. When people say, Deshone, how did you come up with the 1.5% rule? Well, we just calculated what is too much for a car you're giving back. So when we look at the 1% rule, we can see that Zafrina got a 1% lease, and then she's paying $26,712, including her taxes and fees, to drive a $76,000 car. How much money do you think she saved off the car? Probably $15,000 to $20,000. So I'm driving a $76,000 car for under $27,000 over 3 years. This is what I would be burying my negative equity in. I would be burying it in an electric vehicle that I'll lease, so that even after I get all my money off, 15, 20 grand plus off, and some of you know Milligan got 20. I think Milligan is our biggest discount we ever helped. She got a $29,000 discount. We've talked about her a lot. That's a perfect scenario for bringing negative equity over and still having a manageable payment. It's beautiful. So that's what I would be doing. That didn't exist when I was in the car business in 2019 inside dealerships, because if it did, I would have been counseling people. This is what you need if you're coming in with a car that has 10, 15 grand negative equity. All right. And again, all of this is in my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's a step-by-step blueprint. You can use it to get exactly what you want: below market leases, purchases, new cars, used cars, high mileage drivers, and everything is in there step by step. So you're not reading anything that is not applicable to you. That book is broken down into sections. So if you're leasing, you're reading the lease section. If you're a high mileage driver, you're reading the high mileage driving section, and you're following the path specifically for you. If you have bad credit, you're not reading a bunch of stuff that is for people with good credit. Okay, so you can grab your copy. It's normally $97, but it's part of our welcome offer. You can get it for $24 for the next 2 hours. Once that timer goes to 0, price goes back to $97. You can get it in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Just click that link and come on back. All right, go ahead, Dolan. We got about another 15, 20 minutes. Then we'll wrap. Jay from YouTube, please correct me if I'm wrong. So when you lease, you're technically paying for half of the car. Why is the lease payment based on the whole price of the car instead of half of it? You're not paying for half of the car. In fact, the better the lease program, the better your deal you got, the lower percentage of the car you're paying. Again, we look at Zafrina. Look at Zafrina. You can see that her deal is so amazing on her electric vehicle. She got a 0.9% deal. So 0.9% means you divide the payment into the MSRP. Now, where did we create this from? This is the 1% rule. For those of you who are familiar with leasing, savvy leasers really knew about the 1% rule since I got into the car business back in 2006. If your lease payment was 1% of the MSRP or less, you stole the car. Incredible value. This is how you judge stealing the car. So in my first lease, a Pontiac G6, it was a $20,000 car. I paid $256 a month. Okay, just over 1%, maybe about 1.1. Then my second lease was a 2010 Infiniti G25. And I leased that for, I think it was $285 a month. Then my Infiniti Q50, when it first came out, 2014, it was a $44,000 car. My lease payment was $325 a month. Then my Infiniti, I got three Q50s, 2014, 16, and 19. It went from 345. It went from 345 to 325 for the first one, 345, and then 365. It kept going up by about $20, and then I got a Jeep Grand Cherokee, $33,000. It was a $35,000 vehicle. My payment was $330 a month. These are 1% leases. This means the value is incredible. So, but it's based on two things. You can't walk into a dealership and say, give me a 1% lease. Again, 80% of dealerships are not going to ever discount the car low enough for you to have a 1% lease. It's just not going to happen. They rather sell the car to someone else who doesn't know what they're doing. So they rather sell the car to people who don't care, just going to walk into dealerships, call and say, all right, hey, listen, all right, what can you do for me? They'll go back and forth, start so high that they come down and you're still high. And then you don't even know what the best lease deal could have been. So you need multiple offers to get these incredible deals. But in order to have a 1% lease, you have to have a great lease program, not just a big discount from the dealership, not just the max discount. You need a great lease program. You need a great money factor. You need a great residual. You need rebates. How do we do this? We get multiple offers. So here's why: when you shop for a car, using whether you're doing it our way or you're doing it your way, you're going to get multiple offers. You need to get at least 5 offers. I teach you how to do this in 60 to 90 minutes from home. You want to call around and do it yourself, and call and just say, hey, listen, can I speak to the sales manager? Hey, let me give you this information. You just give me the best quote you have. I'm ready to make a deal. You want to do it that way? Perfect. You just need to get 5 offers, because you're going to see one deal is going to be at $400 a month. One deal is going to be at $450. One deal is going to be at $490. One deal is going to be at $550. Even if you go back and forth, hey, listen, man, I just give me your best offer. My best offer is $550. Wait, but I'm talking to another dealer. He's doing $400. Hey, listen, man, you need to go get that car. If that's a real deal, you need to get that car. So why would I be talking to a dealer who I got $400, he's at $550? This is the 80%. They know they can sell the car to someone else. Doesn't matter what you. So that's why your goal is to be the person talking to the dealer who's at $400 a month. You know, you can't let somebody go in there and negotiate with that dealer who's at $550. They're not going anywhere. Many of you, your problem is you're talking to the wrong dealers. You come home and you're like, man, this price seems real high on this car. You're talking to the 80% coming home, and you think the 80% is the market. You're going and looking at the $8 spaghetti sauce. You come home, man, that spaghetti sauce is expensive, man, but we need it. We really need it. Man, we need 3 jars too. Not realizing that there's a store downtown that has the same spaghetti sauce for $1.99 on sale. It's the exact same thing, but you need to get multiple offers. And now when we go back to what a value play is on a lease, you don't want to be above 1.5. And that's how you determine if your vehicle you're looking at has a good lease program or a bad lease program. When you get your 5 offers, you divide the MSRP, you divide the monthly payment, no money down, No money due at sign. Only your first payment is how you should be shopping your leases. And for those of you who want to watch the replay of this, we have this on. If you're not getting my book, if you have my book, you don't have to ever watch a replay. But if you're like, Deshone, this is a lot, we got the replays on YouTube and Facebook. So when you actually are shopping your leases, you want to be able to divide that monthly payment into the MSRP. If your monthly payment is $400, divide it into the MSRP, $40,000. That's 1%. And then when you get all your offers, if you're like, man, all my offers are over 1.5%, 1.6, 1.7, 1.9, that's a bad lease program. If your lowest offer is still over 1.5%, that's not the salesman's fault. That's the lease program. That's how you identify a bad lease program. You can't get one offer and then be like, oh, that's a bad lease program. No, you have to get multiple offers. Then you're able to see, wow, all of these dealers are competing. This one is the best, and it's still over 1.5. You must get multiple offers or you're never going to know where the bottom is on a car. And again, if you want to do it in 60 to 90 minutes, grab my digital book. Teaches you everything. We have the strategies, we have the steps, we have the templates, we have the email scripts. You do all of this from home. It's normally $97, but part of my welcome offer, you can get it for the next 2 hours for $24 in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Click that link and then just click $24 special. Now, once that timer goes to zero, price does go back up to $97. But I'm teaching you how to do it your way or our way. So no matter what, you just need to do it, because if you don't, you're going to be like 90% of the people, maybe 95, who are just walking into dealerships paying ridiculous prices for these same cars, while my people are out here driving past you in these cars that, you know, it's just no comparison. And let's look at well, I got so many testimonials. You know, I try to make sure that I just keep these testimonials ready for you guys. This one's from KBW. Deshone, I saw the specific 2021 Mazda CX-90 S Turbo Premium Plus Hybrid. Wow. With precise trim, exterior and interior color specs. Only one such vehicle existed in Georgia. Wow. After soliciting quotes from all Georgia Mazda dealers without initially specifying color, a bidding war ensued. Oh, I love those words. Good job. Between the dealership possessing the exact vehicle and another dealership offering the desired trim but a different color scheme. Leveraging the Cars from Home counter offer system, that's one of the calculators that you guys get access to that we invented. When you get my book, in that book is 6 different calculators that we use for various parts of our shopping process. This takes things, you can't get any of these on Google, but you're going to see once you start using them how much you needed them. That's why we made them. The dealership with the alternative color offered to beat any written offer. The final acquisition resulted in a 1.25% lease agreement with 0 down payment, 36 months, 12,000 miles per year. MSRP was $60,000 with a monthly payment of $760. And just so you know how much a $60,000 monthly payment would be, no money down, who knows? Whoever knows this, I don't know. I just want to give you a shot. Who knows how much, based on what we talk about, you guys know my rules here, unless you're new. Some of you, if you might be a first-time person, so I don't want. How much would a $60,000 car cost us with no money down? Just so we can compare it to this $760 a month payment that KBW got. $60,000 car, no money down. Let's see who knows. $60,000 car. Every 5,000 up. Sherry, 600. That's incorrect, Sherry. $60,000 car if we purchased it. Y'all are scaring me. If you walk into a dealership looking at a $60,000 car and you're expecting it to be $600 a month, this is how you end up in 10-year loans. This is how we end up in 10-year loans. All right. I haven't been. Oh, Denisha says 600. Where are we getting? Where are we getting these numbers from? Thank you. All right, let's just do this. Thank you, 340 Imperial, because let's just do this. All right, y'all are scaring me. And all right, Rashida, thank you on Instagram. 1,200. We can just take 60,000 and let's divide that by 72 months. 72 months is a 6-year loan. Before we even put interest on it, that's going to be $833 a month. So once we put interest on that, that's going to go up to like $1,100 a month with good credit. So when we look at our rules, I want you to, and again, the reason why I want to tell you this is because if you go in with this mindset, you are in huge trouble, because you're going to go look at cars that you can't afford. And you're going to look at cars and say, you know what, man, could you get me the $600 a month on that car? And they're going to be like, this car doesn't cost anywhere near $600. This is like $1,100 a month. And you're going to be, well, could you get me the $600, $650 maybe? All right, how much down payment could you come up with? I might could come up with like 10. All right. And then they're going to put you in a loan and be like, hey, all right, listen, good news. I got you with 10,000. I got you to $675 a month. And you're going to drive out of there and your loan is going to be for 9 years or 10. I've seen it happen. Can't help you after that. You're done. You're done. No one can help you. You could drive that car for the next 9, 10 years, pay off the loan. You can do that. But you can't do anything else. Forget about replacing that car in 3 years, change. Oh, the car's starting to break down. What do I do? Nothing. Nothing. You're in a 9 or 10-year loan on a car because you wanted to be at $675 a month on a car that is $1,100 a month. And the only way they could get you to $675 was to get 10 grand down and to put you in a 9 or 10-year loan. One guy I went, and I remember when I was at GM, he came in and he was like, hey, man, you okay? What you think, man? I'm in this, I forget what the car was. It was so long ago, 2010 or something it was, 9. And he said it was the first time I saw a 96-month loan on a contract. First time I saw a 96-month loan. And he's like, I asked him, I said, hey, do you know how much how much is your payment? He's like, I'm paying, he knew what his payment was. I said, but how long is the loan? He didn't know. And I said, come back, bring your paperwork. I got to see kind of where this is before we even look. And he pulled that thing up and that joint said 96 months. 96 months. So that's why we use the rule every $5,000 is about $100 per month. I'm going to continue to make those videos. I'm going to continue to put those formulas out. The reason why people are transforming here with us, I just want to show you how many people use. See, right now, let me tell y'all where we're at right now. We're at the point where we've been doing this so long. When I used to come to you and try to talk to you about using our stuff, we had a lot of people using our stuff. And I kept telling you, there's a lot of people using our stuff and winning. But where we are now, which is a different place, is they have lapped you now. Those same people have gotten 2, 3, 4 cars. They've lapped you because you have yet to take action. And if this is your first time here, if this is your first time on a show with me, type the number 1. I don't want to be hard on people. This is your first time here. But I do want to let you know how serious this is, because there have been people with me. Good to see you, Shalonda. Good to see you, 340 Imperial. If this is your first time ever on a live stream with me, type 1. Gerald, good to see you on YouTube. We have people, Pamela, good to see you on Facebook. All right, shout out to our first timers. But there's a lot of people watching the broadcast that are not typing the number 1 because this is not their first time. And here's what I want to show you. When you look at Trey, I've attained my 3rd graduate degree. When you look at every time you get a car using the Car from Home system, This is the people who are in our Shop with Deshone program. Same program. It's just some gets video and coaching from me. And if you get the book, it's just a step-by-step blueprint. Same results you're going to get. But he got his third car. My son was in the market for a new 2025 Blazer electric vehicle. I started sending emails in the wee hours of Tuesday morning. He lives in El Paso, Texas. Emailed about 25 to 30 dealerships, got 8 offers, closed the deal 2 days later. 2 days. 2 days. Email, look, listen, with actually the closest dealership. So the closest dealership ended up winning his business. MSRP is $55,985. So let's call it $56,000. They accepted the counter offer using our counter offer calculator, closed the lease at $560 a month. Now, again, going back to our rule, every $5,000 is about $100 per month on a 5-year loan. That $56,000 car would cost about $1,100 a month. He's paying $560. There are people who are buying this same car paying $1,100 a month. There are people who think they got a good deal. They got a little lower. They're paying $900 a month. It's people who driving out the dealership thinking they won, pounding their chest. Oh, I'm paying $800 a month. I'm not paying that $1,100 a month. Dealership tried to get me at $1,100, man. I talked them all the way down to $800. He's paying $560 a month. And he saw the other offers. See, this is a market report. When you look at other lease offers, when you start doing this our way, you're going to see this is a lease offer on, this is a market report for an Infiniti. You're going to see this is a $61,000 car. Deshone, why is it payments of $685, $889, $680, $873? Why is it a $200 difference? Because the 80% are always going to be here. So Trey got 3 cars. Let's go back to wrapping up with Trey's 3 cars using our system. Hold on. Where you at, Trey? Hold on. That's Val. Hold on. I shouldn't have clicked off Trey. Here we go. Look. So let's go back. My first graduation, first car he got using Cars from Home was 2.5 years ago. I leased my vehicle at a 1.5 lease. Got my daughter a lease in October, this past October, 1.33. And now my son, 1%. He's been with me for 2.5 years. Each car he's saving thousands. Each car he's doing it quicker from home. Same time some of you may have hopped on, you might have saw me 2 years ago, and you haven't taken action on what we're telling you to do yet. Look at Rosalie. Rosalie, 4 cars. Some of you heard me talking about Rosalie all last year because she had a great deal on her Infiniti truck. Earlier this year, she got 3 more cars. 3 more cars. Big shout out to Deshone the Auto Advisor for making these incredible deals happen like I did them. I just created the process. 3 new leases for my son. Only first month's payment due at signing. Nissan Rogue, $36,000, $37,000. She's paying $399. CX-30 Mazda, $28,000. She's paying $339, 1.2%. Mazda CX-50 Premium Plus, $40,000. She's paying $420. You think these guys, listen, these guys didn't go to car buying college. We're not taking you through a college course. How is it that they're talking like this with these numbers? They understand these percentages. Deshone, I don't even really understand when you talk these percentages. How do they understand it? Because they follow a step-by-step formula. So when they shop, they're looking at offers the way we look at them. That's why they're talking that way. They didn't spend hours and hours sitting and learning and reading and studying, and then they went and took a test. This is a transformative way to shop, and we've been trying to get y'all to do this for 4 years. For 4 years. And it doesn't matter. I see Denisha asked what type of credit is required. You need the best plan for your credit. If you have bad credit, or if you don't have perfect credit, you actually are going to overpay for your interest. If you don't have skills, you're going to overpay for your interest, and you're going to overpay in fees they're going to charge you, and you're going to overpay for the car because you're not going to find the best car for the money, because you're just going to walk into a dealership that you hope can get you approved. Hey, I saw this car online. Hey, what can y'all get me in that? Versus, hey, if I have bad credit, that should be between me and the person giving me the loan. Why do I overpay for the car? If somebody with good credit could have found that car for 19 grand, but when I come in, they're charging me 21 plus fees, plus my taxes and everything, and I got to pay 25% interest. So I'm paying 26 for a car that I could have got for 19 if I had good credit. That's because you don't understand that you should be shopping with bad credit for a car separate from your loan. Your loan is, hey, I got to pay higher interest because I don't have good credit. What does that have to do with my car? But because you've been taught to mix the two together, who I get the car from, I got to get the loan from. And they're going to mix those transactions, charge you more for all of them. And then you mess around and trade your old car in. You don't get all the money for that. And you wonder how you're overpaying and other people like us are paying $5,000, $7,000 less than you. So I can go on and on. Sheree's on her fourth car. She's got two leases from us with us, and she's got 2 used cars. We're to the point now where my students have lapped you. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. I'm saying that to say, repeat. When you see somebody who comes and uses our Cars from Home system 3 years ago, just sees it and says, whoa, look at Zafrina. Look at the last sentence she typed in on her testimonial. I will never go into a dealer to purchase a car again, exclamation point. Transformation. I haven't been in a dealership to buy a car since 2016. Our company is called Cars from Home. My book is called Cars from Home. So if you wonder, what is Deshone trying to really get across to me? It's that you need to unlearn the way you've been taught to buy a car. It continually makes the dealerships billions of dollars. That's why they created it. And until you do that, there's nothing you can do. I can sit here and I can try to teach you how to do this thing manually from home. You can do it, call around, get multiple offers. That's fine. Do it that way. But if you are still going into dealerships on a Saturday, on a Friday, sitting there for 4 hours, negotiating, thinking no matter what, you are exactly what they want you to be. Keep doing this. No, I'll walk out. No problem. Yep, sir, don't walk out yet, miss. Hold on, don't walk out. Well, hold on, what can we do? All by design. I feel like I'm winning when they do that. Not when you're talking to an 80% dealer. So what if we could just take off another 1,000 for you? No, I want more than 1,000. Listen, I don't have it. I already gave you 2,000 off. You don't realize that I'm already $8,000 higher than what my competition is going to be. But I'm not going to let you leave. This is the game rigged against you. They told us when we were in the car business, people only shop 2 dealerships. That's data. That's data that they make sure we know. Understand, when you become a car salesman, son, they're only going to shop 2 dealerships. Most people, they're worn out, they're tired after 2 dealerships. Statistics say they want to purchase the car from the first dealership they walk into. We know this information about you. This isn't a secret that they keep from car salesmen. It's a psychological game where I'm going to make you think you're winning, and I'm going to give you don't leave yet. Hold on, don't leave. That's why sales managers used to get mad at me. Why'd you let them leave? Hey, it wasn't a good time. Why'd you let them leave? We could always take off more and more, but don't let them leave. So this is where you're at. And I like to invite you into our world where you can come out of that and you can be, 3 years from now, we're going to be on a live, and it's going to be Zafrina going to be on her 4th car, Rosalie going to be on her 7th car, Trey going to be on his 5th car. How long you going to watch us win? You can start with my digital book. It's in my bio. Or you can start with my free cheat sheets. That's also in the TikTok bio. Free cheat sheets in my bio, in my Instagram bio, in the Facebook comments, the YouTube comments, or If you want the play-by-play strategies, you can get my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It is in my bio, 75% off for $24. You'll have everything we teach. Immediately, you're going to change. Do not read that book all the way through. That's a checklist. When I tell you do this, step 1, step 2, step 3, follow the book. And then by the time you get to step 7, I'm congratulating you. We're getting ready for your pickup. You're getting ready for them to deliver your car or you to go pick it up. Okay? So grab your copy in my book. I will be back later this evening around 8 p.m., maybe 8:30 latest. Hop on if you have some additional questions. There's a lot of questions we couldn't get to, but I got a couple meetings I got to jump on now. But definitely unlearn. There's nothing I can do. I can give you all the game in the world. There's nobody better than me. And again, I just look at my students. I look at the people that listen to me. My family been calling me for years, Deshone, I need a car. Now I arm them with the strategies, and I look at how they do. Zafrina can shop for a car as good as me. King can shop for a car as good as me. Courtney, as good as me. Jen, good as me. They're getting the same results I would get. That's why I say we're the best in the world, because nobody can put hundreds and hundreds of people up who are dominating the car buying process. And we can do that. We've been doing that since 2023. 2023, we had hundreds of people at that point. How many testimonials you want to see? We could do a show where I just download all the thousands of testimonials and we just one by one. So it's not I'm special. It's just the system we created works for anybody willing to use it. All right. So I'll be back. Have a great day. We'll answer some more questions on the next show. And I appreciate everybody who tapped in. Tell your friends, meet us back here about 8 o'clock. And, we'll get to some more questions. All right. See y'all soon. Thank you.